Hello, hello, hello. How's it going out there, guys? Hope everybody is having a good night out there. Good Monday evening. Glad everybody could join us. Hope everybody had a safe and happy 4th of July. No, we did. Um, Hope you did too, Ricky. Joined tonight, as always, by my partner, Mr. Ricky Weaver. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good, man. Yeah, we had a good Fourth. They shot a lot of fireworks off around here. I've got three dogs, two outside ones and one inside one, and they all stayed hid through all the racket. So we all come through it good.
I've got an almost 200-pound Great Dane, and he let us know every time one set off, he wasn't too happy about it. So it was pretty annoying to be honest, but it was a good time. Had my little boy, and we had fun. Had a little cookout, watched some fireworks.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah,
What about
I think everybody in the neighborhood around here decided to go in and buy fireworks, and it lasted for probably, God, I don't know, hour and a half down here, and it was really nice. But like I said, the
yeah?
critters they didn't like it too well.
Unfortunately, well, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. I want to ask everybody, if you haven't already, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. Um, Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Like I said, we're gaining subscribers each week. We're nowhere near where we want to be, but you guys are helping us out, and I appreciate it. Just continue to show us some love, guys. Tell your friends about us. Just spread the word if you don't mind. And also, if you don't mind, head over to our website, mannimalresearch.com. You can report your encounter there, and also get information about starting to do some research yourself, becoming a field investigator yourself, maybe working with us sometime. Love to talk to you about that. And if you've had an encounter, it's important that you share it, we believe. And a good way to share it is shows like this, platforms like this, get your story out there, and that way we can all learn a little bit more about their behavior. So if you guys don't mind, please run over and check out our website. Sure would appreciate it. Ricky,
Yeah,
anything squatchy been going on, buddy?
no, but last few weeks I've been staying close to home. Uh, been doing a little research on the computers and stuff, talking to a few people. Got a couple encounter stories. I'm including them in our paper I'm doing. We've been working on it diligently, trying to get everything put together. I'm running a little late on the mail out date on it, but I'm hoping to get everything together, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to start mailing them out.
Yeah, well, it's our first edition, so the first time for everything takes a little while.
Oh yeah,
So maybe get the kinks and everything worked out and get that thing going. And I'm excited about it. I know you've done a good job on it.
I got to figure out how to work this binding machine I've got now. I finally got it in, and so I'm gonna be doing that later tonight, and hopefully I'll get everything ready and get ready to start mailing them tomorrow.
Good deal, good deal. Before we talk about our guest tonight, and really really excited about our guest tonight. But first, I want to give a shout out to this guy. He's a good guy. He is the founder, or he's the creator of the website ShowMeBigfoot.com. Guys, go over there and check out that site. He has put a lot of work into this site, and he's not getting paid anything for doing it. He has put together this huge list of places online that anyone can go and find out more information on Bigfoot. Like for example, our show is on there, and every Bigfoot show out there and books and stuff like that are all listed in alphabetical order. And you guys help him out. Like I said, he's put a lot of time and effort into getting this website up and going and helping a lot of people like us out. And he's not getting paid anything at all for doing it. It's just like he told me the other day. He just loves the topic. He loves the subject, so that's why he's doing it. He's got some apparel on there, t-shirts, stuff like that. Guys, pick up a t-shirt. He's even got a donation tab on there, keep in mind that people like us and like him, we have full-time jobs. We work. This is all mainly a hobby for us. So we're sinking our own money into this. So guys, if you like what you're seeing, not only from us but from him and other Bigfoot groups, we got to have some kind of financial help. We got to have some kind of funding, and I would hate to see a site that's as good as his and done as well as his not make it because he can't get some help from people. So guys, go check out showmebigfoot.com. I sure would appreciate it, guys. All right, tonight we have Mr. Barry Webster coming to us from all the way from Nebraska. He is a member of the Omaha tribe. He is the founder, or him and his brother actually founded Rez Squatching Research. And guys, let me tell you some of the stories that Barry has. This guy's the real deal. He is out there putting in the work, and like he gets told all the time, there's nobody out there that's doing the things that he's doing right now, and he's making a difference. He's putting in the time, and you guys just gonna have to see it yourself. But check out Rez Squatching Research out in Nebraska. He's doing some really cool stuff, and this is gonna be a fun hour, guys. We're about to bring him on, hand the floor over to him, and yeah, guys, if you have any questions, our audience tonight, you have any questions, fire them at him. He's ready. Ricky, you got anything else before we bring Barry on?
Let's bring him on.
We'll do it. There he is. How you doing, Barry?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. Doing good.
Good deal. Good deal. So we're happy to have you. That's loud. All right, we're happy to have you, buddy. So you're a part of. Sorry, hold on just a second, guys. No, I'm sorry about that. All right, you're a member of the Omaha tribe out there, and normally what we do is we ask people, what their knowledge was of Bigfoot before their first encounter. But you being Native American, I'm sure you've always had a knowledge. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess, growing up, in my homeland, I knew about him, way back. I always try to tell people that I knew about Bigfoot, or Sitonga is the one of the appropriate names in our language that we call him, is Sitonga. And so I knew about Sitonga at a very young age. In fact, I always kind of kid, I knew about Sitonga before Batman and Robin.
That's cool. That's cool. Pronounce that one more time for us.
Sitonga.
Sitonga. Okay, I hadn't heard that one. That's cool. That's cool. So, how did your first personal encounter go? About how old were you? Tell us about that.
I and in retrospect, I probably my first encounter was when I was in high school, and I told one about I was coaching high school girls volleyball, but as I look back, it was actually when I was working in a summer youth program. We had a bunch of youth, about 30 or 40 youth out cutting weeds out of a cornfield, a bean field. And that was probably my first encounter. Actually, we didn't see it. It just did this. It did the classic howl to the east of us and just blew our minds. Broad daylight, hotter than a Tennessee barbecue afternoon, and just blew my mind that it was that close. Frightened everybody. being, you know, in high school, we just always told the kids is run, run, run. And so that was probably my first, you know, encounter. So
Okay. Okay. And when did you decide to start taking this to another level and looking into them and really getting involved in your research?
it was probably about a little over 11 years ago, off and on, you know, we used to, because, you know, my people believed that it was, you know, the old adage or it was taboo to stay away from the bottom, meaning that was an area by the river, and that was mainly where there was sightings. So it was basically taboo to be down there at dark. And so about 11 years ago, over 11 years ago, the community started experiencing a lot of activity. There was a lot of Class A or a lot of sightings, and every week, just about there was some kind of story circulating the community, and the Finding Bigfoot series was hot and heavy, and then my son challenged me. He said, "Dad, let's go find out what's going on out there." And I kind of him-hawed about it, and finally my wife gave me the go-ahead, and boom, I was out the door. Me and my son, one of my other nephews, and my brother Derek, we set out to see what was going on, and the first night, you know, we got the low guttural growl out north, and I think that was one of many that hooked me, you know, hook, line, and sinker. So I had to learn more, you know. Something made that noise, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and with all the legend and so with that being said, you know, I didn't care, you know. I had prayed about, you know, as we were having more um, uh, activity, as we were getting more activity, the desire and the passion started to grow, and I was determined, and I knew that I could take this further. And so, a long story short, things just started to happen for us. Um, I asked one of our elder grandmas. So I started seeking knowledge from our elders, and it was all kind of, you know, based on obviously their own experience. But some of the key things that stood out to me was the respect factor. Um, our people respect them. In fact, we call them hube, which means they're holy. So we hold them in kind of a higher esteem. You know, we respect them as our brother, as well as other Native American tribes. Some may differ, but I knew there was something special going on, and we started. I figured this that if we were going to do this, it was going to be through God. It was going to be about respect. It was going to be about um, being humble and and through prayer. That was the Omaha way, and so the that's the story.
Okay. Now, you and how long have you been doing this now? How many years?
Oh, give or take 25 plus, easy. Just driving down there, listening, but not taking it real serious, but taking it to another level about 11 and a little over 11 years now,
Okay.
at
Okay.
least 2 or 3 times a week for the
Okay.
past 11 years.
All right. Now, you are one of the few that have had the ability to communicate with these things. Am I right?
Yeah, I don't classify myself as a medium. Um, I I think that comes out of the respect and the trust you build with them.
Okay.
So yeah, to answer your question, yes.
And how long has this been going on? Like you said, you really dived into it heavy about 11 and a half years ago. How long did it take from that point till you started really communicating?
Probably 3 or 4 years in, and actually we didn't even know we were communicating. One time, me and my brother are out, and I remember exactly saying to him, "Do you feel this way about it? Do you feel this?" And he said, "Yeah, that's exactly what the message I'm getting." So it was something that just started to evolve for us.
So your brother has the ability as well.
Yeah, there's a connection there.
Okay, and I'm sure our audience is curious. I know I am. Are you referring to mind speak? What people call mind speak?
Yeah, yeah, or telepathy. I
Telepathy?
yeah. Either way, you know, I don't I don't brag about that. I don't, to me that's just part of that special gift they have, and I believe they can bring you into that. you know, so
Okay. And how did that go? I mean, how does that go on a normal investigation for you? I mean, do you find that when every time you go out nowadays that you have the ability to communicate with one of them out there?
yeah, it doesn't like anything, you know. I think I wouldn't say my problem. I like to share with people, and so I'm
Hmm.
always inviting people to come witness what I worked hard, what we work so hard for, and especially me. And so a lot of times that takes some time when you're out there, especially when you got somebody new. But I truly believe that through gifting, through all those things, that our people did, that eventually it happens. You know,
So you did gifting.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so give us an example of that, like what you would give, and are there any? Do you find that it works better to do at a certain time and in a certain locations, or what?
I think it, it's the feel. Nobody told me. I heard all kinds of suggestions about apples and this and that, and I know people like to pick my brain a lot, but I have to tell you that I truly believe that it's a spiritual journey for me, and what I mean by that um, is that it's guided by the Holy Spirit, you know, and
Hmm.
if people think that's extreme, well, so be it, I guess,
Yeah, have you found anything that they like more than others?
with regards to gifting.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, let me you have to let me think about that one for a second.
Okay.
I think I think for me, honestly, I know my team, they like to give fruit,
Okay.
and I don't mind that. Um, However, I'd much uh, myself personally, and I don't talk much about it, but I'd like to give more like Indian artifacts or gifts, like shawls, things that we use in our society that I think they find more intriguing. Now, I hate to be giving all my tips out, but
Hmm.
that's if I had a choice, I let my team give the fruit out, which I think they enjoy. But if I had my choice, I'd give our regalia or some kind of symbol or or something that they can relate to, you know.
Okay. Do you typically receive gifts back?
Yeah, yeah, I have.
Is that something you want to talk about or not? You don't have to.
Well, I'll talk about a couple of them. One time, um, we gave a feather, and the feather was replaced, was put back in an area where we gifted, and it had a rock on it. It was the rock was holding it down. So I think a lot of rocks, you know, a feather, to me, I really can't say that there's one thing because I do whatever in my heart.
Okay.
I think they understand that well, that was something he held and he brought here, so that's special.
That's cool. That's really, really cool.
So
Yeah.
I can't say Ricky Weaver, give them apples, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, whatever you have, if it's on your neck, it has to be something, and I really believe this. It has to be something of value to you, you know, and they know that, you know. So I probably just threw my team for a loop, but that's all right.
Ricky, you got anything? You let me do all the talking, buddy.
Um, I know we discussed this earlier. There's a lot of people out there that find actually believe these things are uh, interdimensional. I know I have spoken with people that Native American people that believe they're some people believe they're shapeshifters. What's your thought on something of this nature?
Ricky, I can only share with you what I've experienced. And so my thought again, Ricky, 3 times I had these loud footsteps walk right up to me on the left-hand side as we were doing whoops early on. And so then I'm not a paranormal guy, and I always make that known. However, as a squatcher, you have to deal, that comes with the territory, paranormal stuff. You just have to learn to deal with it. But Ricky, I have seen what people that were with me called, what would they call it? Geez, slipped my mind. This portal. I have seen portals 3 times and had them walk up to me and walk by me invisible. So I agree. There's something closely connected to another dimension. And early on, I used to never believe that until, again, I've experienced that. I saw 3 portals just open up, and they were actually square. They were kind of neon green. So that was mind blowing. Now, I know you didn't ask the question, Ricky, but I've never. I take that back. I saw an alien one time, and it gets more complicated, you know. But I do believe that, Ricky, and my tribe believes that they're interdimensional. In fact, there's a legendary story that I got a hold of that they actually seen one coming out of a portal. So that was mind blowing to hear that, you know, from an elder. So
Wow. Hey Barry, we're getting asked by one of our regulars, Mr. Pappy Two Bears, to ask you about. He said, "Well, let me just put it up there." Ask Barry about his handshake.
Oh man, Happy Two Bears would do that to me. Um, Actually, the handshake is on YouTube with Bigfoot Odyssey. Um, so you can watch it on Bigfoot Odyssey on YouTube, episode 9 with Rez Squatching Research. I kind of go into more detail there, but in a nutshell, the handshake uh, was my encounter. Um, I asked them to shake my hand, and when I would go out, um, that was a very trying time for us as a group. The group had been going through a lot. Um, we were we agreed to do a documentary and an expedition at that time, and I didn't tell anybody on the team what I was actually going to do that night. I told maybe two, and so that was a very, very special night. Um, we There must have been about 10 people behind me. We went to one of our favorite hot spots, and this feeling, even when I'd go to work, and even in the month leading up to that, months before that, I knew I wanted to do this. I challenged myself because of the activity or the encounters I've had. And so we gathered in this hot spot, and there was 10 people behind me. One of them was Igor Berseff, Richard Soul. I could name all the people that were there. Um, in fact, what was it? The Sasquatch anthropologist. He actually broke down the audio from that encounter, and I found that very fascinating. Some on the audio, but I basically asked them to come out and shake my hand, and 98% of the people there um, witnessed the same thing I did. He didn't come out in the physical form. He came out in a translucent form and actually shook my hand.
Really?
Yeah, I asked him to, and some of the details about that is, although he was in a translucent form, I could see, the details of him along with others that were there with me. And the most convincing part is when he reached out to me. His forearm was so long as he reached towards me. I thought, and I didn't know what to think, but I remember I better reach out and grab his hand because it's going to hit my stomach. And so I stopped his hand as I reached down. Let me kind of lay it. As I reached out, I couldn't feel him physically, but our hands stopped. My hand stopped him, and we clinched. And then I proceeded to go up and down 4 times, and his hand never went through mine. We stayed the whole time, 4 times. Then he pulled away, and then he just looked at me, and I thanked him. And key people witnessed it, and that was a very
So other people saw this translucent figure as well.
Yes, sir. In fact, I could have invited some people on to join us to verify that, but if you watch the YouTube Bigfoot Odyssey episode 9, you'll hear others talk about it. Very credible people, and it was one of my top 3. I have to admit.
Wow, that's amazing. How big was the creature?
Oh, easy. Easy 9-footer.
Oh, wow. So you're looking up at him,
Yeah,
and you could see facial features and everything.
yeah, yeah.
Is that something you care to describe for us?
Well, he almost he was brown. He was brown. He had he didn't have the glow. He had what I would call normal eyes. But the thing that stood out to me more was the nose. The nose, people kind of draw them, with kind of the ape or the monkey, the monkey nose.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell all of you that I've never seen one with the monkey nose. Not in our parts of the land, but he his eyes, the white in his eyes was really just pure white, almost like a perfect Bigfoot, so to speak. But he was very gentle, and he was very willing. The demeanor he had, he didn't show any aggression. It was almost as if he said, "We'd love to shake your hand." That's the feeling I got. And I hear all these people talk about Sasquatch Chronicles and all these horrifying, terrifying experiences. Mine have actually been pretty calm, pretty mellow, pretty spiritual experiences.
Okay, so you would say that the face was more human-like, would you?
The what?
Would you say that the face is more human-like, look like a human as opposed to an animal?
No, the nose. I saw another picture one of my friends sent me, and I thought the nose was weird, But then, as I started to encounter them, that was that was kind of along the same line. So I would verify that image that I saw early and when I started, because the nose seemed more, I want to say, pronounced and longer,
Okay.
almost
Okay.
human-like, almost
Like
like,
human-like nose?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And he was almost as if he wanted to do this with me. That was a very strong. It wasn't reluctant, because he just came right up out of nowhere. This big presence. In fact, I'm about 5'9.5", 5'10", maybe with my shoes on. In the extent of my arm, I had to reach up because I wanted to show people there how tall he was. So as high as I could reach, I touched his. Well, I reached up to his nose part. That's how tall he was. So he had to be at least 8.5, easy.
So you reached up with him still standing there?
Yeah, yeah. He didn't flinch. He wasn't intimidated of the group. You could feel his presence strongly, though. There was some kind of. I've heard people talk about this electromagnetic field. They give off some energy that you wouldn't believe. The whole time I was doing that, my body hurt. My body ached.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So like kind of like a flu type ache or
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm.
Kind of like you know, I, I can't describe it. It's
But after he was gone, it went away?
yeah. After he's gone, in fact, I don't want to. Igor kind of made some comments about the audio, which that's his own opinion. But Igor actually fell over, and we had to pick him up.
Really?
And I actually was scared, because I thought maybe he got zapped. There was some young kids who jumped on last minute with us that really wanted to go, some little relatives, and they they were never the same. To this day, they say my Uncle Barry is incredible, which I don't believe that, but
Well, I mean, from what I'm hearing, I agree with them.
yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
So that's and you know what? Let me say this. You know that's just a blessing. You know, that's just God's work there. You know, I don't take no credit for it, man. No credit for it.
No,
Barry,
that's very.
Papa Two Bears here says Barry had an amazing encounter with a young one. Would you like to talk about that?
Man, talking two bears, he's putting me out there, huh?
Yeah, any of these, man, we'd love to hear it. I'm sure we got some people on here that hadn't heard your stuff. So yeah, man, if you don't mind, we'd love
Yeah,
to hear it.
we hadn't. It was in October. We hadn't been out for about maybe 2.5 months, and so we decided to go out. Three of us, and there was a hot spot that that I would have to say is probably one of the best in the world, and we call it Hard Knocks. And we decided to go there to kind of end the night. That was kind of our grand finale. And to my surprise, when we pulled up, 4 or 5 decided to join me about 25 yards from me. And that, you know, I realized, and I always kind of get stuck on how to help anybody that's new to understand, you know, what's really going on with Rez Squatching, and it's been nothing but an amazing ride, so to speak. But if you're listening to this, you know, I'm telling you straight up, you know, I was a former collegiate athlete. I have nothing to prove. I didn't expect to do all this. So when I tell this, I like to lay that groundwork down that you know, I don't need the attention. I truly attribute a lot of this to my travel ways, travel teachings, and it's been clearly about respect and humility and asking God. And so I want to lay that groundwork because, you know, a lot of people are skeptics and critics out there, and I've learned to just kind of let the rain. I can't remember the little saying, but let the water roll off the duck's back. You know,
Mm-hmm.
did I get that one right, Ricky?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the story. It was around. It probably had to be 2 o'clock in the morning, and as soon as I got off the car, I'll just say four. Four joined me with the eye shine, and that's not uncommon. And so I was a little surprised by that. So I started talking to them, and to this day, I can't tell you what I was saying to them. And about 15 minutes in, maybe 25, I finally noticed eye shine to the left of my peripheral vision. And so I just kept talking, and I thought I saw, you know, again, the eye shine. After maybe 30 minutes, 5 more minutes went by, I noticed eye shine off this branch that was about my eye level, and it must have been 4 feet from me. And today I couldn't tell you verbatim, obviously, but I could tell you that as I was talking, I don't remember what I was saying to these 4 because I was blown away. There was a big guy in there. You want to talk about a 9 9-footer. There was an alpha in there. And little did I know that one of them, well, actually, I take that back. As I was talking, the little one kept inching down closer and closer until he just lit up. And I had to look at him while I was talking to the adults, the family here. And so I turned to look at him, and I looked him right in his eyes, and I thought, no way. That's all I could think about was no way. And there was a juvenile about 2.5 feet tall, and his eyes were lit up. He had the eye glow, the eye shine. And to this day, I tell people, and Linda Joe, my sisters, Linda and Angel were there. They were in the back of me, and I'm sure their eyes were lit up. There's no doubt. And they were blown away by this whole encounter. And I remember telling them that that was so special that I think if I would have reached out and said, "Can I hold you?" he would have came into my arms. And you can take that to the bank, Ricky Weaver.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That was incredible, and to this day, unless somebody, comes up with another encounter, what more can you ask for? Thank God. Yeah.
Oh,
Man, I'm telling you,
Miss Christina is asking me to ask you about the Stevie Wonder Sasquatch.
Yeah, that's a bad dude, man.
Well, let's hear about him.
That's a bad dude. How much time do I got? I'm so comfortable here. Let's go till midnight.
Oh, just keep going, buddy. Just keep going.
I want to thank the members there for coming on and giving you these suggestions. So that's good. Hey, thank you guys for coming on and supporting the show.
Yeah, I've already thanked them on here, and I thank you guys again. I appreciate it. Good audience tonight.
You bet.
Very good audience. Thanks goes out to everyone.
Let me say this. And a lot of people squatch with me, and even my team, and I get caught up in the moment sometimes, but I can tell you this: there's not one team member can't deny any of my stories, man. I got to give them a lot of credit. They're very supportive for hanging in there with me, and so I want to give them a little shout out, for their support and their courage to hang in there. I had the Stevie Wonder. I call him Stevie Wonder, and I was just telling somebody earlier because he asked me if I was going on live with you guys. He asked me about it, and I said, well, really, I've learned a lot from our brothers, and I mean the Situnga people, because what he taught me was that they're not some creature, and I will tell you on your show that these are not creatures. They're people, and very intelligent. When he stepped out, he took this whole 6 feet of brush, about 6 feet tall. In one swipe, he stepped out on the bank while I was parked on the road. He was higher than me. He was looking down at me on the road. So I'm standing here. I had to call my brother, my nephew, my niece. When he stepped out after he moved the brush, he stepped out and he started posturing. And what that told me is that in their world they're very it was a defensive style. It was almost like a superhero style. One leg was down and he started to go like this. He came out, and here's what I felt from him. Like, I want to see what this guy's about. You know, it was very confrontational. And my brother was actually, excuse my French, my brother was taking a whiz, and it maybe startled me and surprised me because I never seen him before. Now, here's the cool thing. There's a bunch of cool details here. Is he was every bit had the fur of the beef jerky, the flimsy kind of floppy, but he was light tan. He was in my own words now. He was almost beautiful. He was a man. He was probably the alpha male, but he was very clean looking, and the facial was just incredible. He almost looked like a man, but with a bunch of hair. And in fact, I had Christina actually try and draw him, but he was actually posturing, and it was if he wanted to jump down from there and rip us apart, he could have. I have no doubt about that. I asked my brother after he got done taking the whiz, I said, "Come over here." I said, "Derek, come here." He turned and his eyes lit up like, what the? I won't repeat what he said. I had to actually guide him over to come and stand on my right side as I started to pray. So I started to pray because I knew that's what he wanted. About 3 minutes into my prayer, a female stepped out, and she was almost like an exotic dancer, but on his right side as he was posturing, going back and forth, she leaned up with her back against him and rubbed up against him, against his arm, and rested her head on his shoulder. And I remember the kind of ape-looking feature, but with the nose, you know, and she was tan. And she looked down at me like, thank you for praying for us. And this big head posture. And he was a bad dude, man. That was probably the coolest Situnga I've seen. And
wow.
Yeah.
So I see where he got his name, Stevie Wonder, from.
Yeah. He was, he had to be at least 20 yards from me.
That's how tall would you say he was?
He had to be an 8-footer easy. And man, he was pretty. I mean, I don't know how you could miss that guy, you know, walking. And that right there reminded me that our people know they're there, but I don't think that they've had the closeness, the interaction, the bond, you know, that I've developed. And that's what I want to say. The bond has been nothing but incredible, nothing short of incredible.
Well, that might tie into what Miss Diana requested. She wants you to Barry, can you let the audience know how important it is to have a clean heart when seeking the Situnga?
Yeah, you know, I'm a, you know, the white man. No offense now. The white man in the business world, you guys have what you call intellectual property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Anyway, but I wanna say it here first that Rez Squatching has been the first to ever talk about that. In fact, my native people were the first to talk about being close to God and having your heart pure. And now that has taken, you know, taken to heart by many groups and many people. In fact, I should write a book about it. You know.
You should. You should.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that we could share. I've been blessed to have uh, such a relationship, and again, I thank God. Um, I didn't want to do. Let me back up here. I didn't want to do the typical, you know, science side of it. I asked myself, and I asked God, why didn't anybody ask God who He was? You know, and so that's been, the rest is history. I bat 1,000 in a hot spot, and I got a team that can attest to that, and other people that will attest to that. So I've been very fortunate, Wayne and Ricky. Been very blessed.
No, very. It sounds like it, man. It definitely sounds like it. Miss Christina wants us to ask you about what do you say to Sasquatch to keep their attention?
Let me yeah, there's a rainbow. My granddaughter's talking to me. You know, let me back up for Christine, and let me try and share something that may
Okay.
help others. Um, you know, I really believe this, that I don't think you can force anything for the sake of I want to see one. You know, and maybe I get myself mixed up at times because it gets confusing, and as I try and figure out, you know, I really believe this. The closer you get to God, you know, the better your chances. And it could be that I live they live in my backyard. But if that's the case, then why aren't they coming up to everybody else like they do me and my team? And so,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to get into that debate or sound like, you know, I want credit, but I want the truth out there, you know. Um, I always look at it this way, and maybe, um, you know, it, it's not appropriate, but, you know, I look at Hollywood as the dog chasing his tail, you know, in the approach they use. The same time, you know, I think my ancestors, I just reconnected, we've reconnected um, based on our ancestors' old ways, and we brought that back. It's well documented that my people interacted with them. And the question is what happened? Why did we lose that? Why did we
Yeah.
lose interaction? And I think I brought some of that back. I really believe that. So
That's the question right there, Barry. That's the question.
one of the things that's really gratifying to me is I use my language, and otherwise I don't think I would have really taken a keen interest to know my language. I'm not totally fluent, so I know my language, and I use that when I'm out there. And I believe maybe they can relate to that from the old days, you know, from hearing that all the time. So, you know, there's a lot of variables, lot of things we could throw in there, but I really believe this, that it starts with God and Jesus Christ.
All right, Barry, you talk about these creatures living in the area where you live. Uh, do you find that the creature, do you find that they are a territorial type animal, or are they more communal?
They're territorial. Um, you know, one thing, and this is what I was talking about earlier. I think I've never seen them mix colors. Now check this out, Ricky. There's probably 5 different colors, and we call them clans. And they're the same color, stay together. You don't ever see them mixed. So at some point, And I actually believe we heard a clash one time of territory. And that left us, I was driving parked, and I literally grabbed the steering wheel and held on as tight as I could when we heard that interaction. My brother Derek is tough as nails, and we were actually early into the night in one of our hot spots, and somebody was getting scolded, or there was some kind of clash going on that I've never heard before. Wasn't no bobcats. They couldn't make that noise, but there was a clash, and we were out early, and we had planned to squatch into the wee hours. And after that encounter, about 11 o'clock, we hightailed it home. We didn't want no part of that territorial battle that night. So, you know, they stick together. They have different areas that they claim, and they're territorial.
All right. Another question, Barry. In the area that we live in here in Georgia, we have a lot of people that go out and they actually go out looking for these things. I've had my own experiences with them. I actually saw one back in 1981. Had an experience at the lake in 2011. A couple other experiences on the Big Frog Mountain Range east of here. Do you feel that these creatures anyway are actually a threat to man? Do you actually think they pose a danger to us trying to interact with them?
You know, really, really good question, Ricky. What I've learned from that is that they have a pact with God that they wouldn't interact or hurt us. They're, my strong belief is that they're here to serve their purpose and their curse out. So, you know, everybody loves a good story, you know, and I personally do not listen to Sasquatch Chronicles. I'll squatch in my own area. You know, if they're that dangerous out there, then have it and have your stories, because I don't have those kind of encounters. You know, mine are very peaceful. And so I don't think that they're here to hurt us based on my own experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. You you definitely have a unique thing going on out there, Barry, and I want to hear more, man. We're right here at an hour. I want to ask you again in the future if you would come back. You think you'd come back and spend some more time with us?
You betcha, I'd love to, man. I loved you and Ricky's approach, and I felt comfortable here, and you let me talk.
Yeah.
You know, I got lost in the story.
That's what our forum is for.
Yeah, one of our researchers, Mr. Jimmy or James, I think you know him. He reached out to you and asked if you'd come on. He told me all about you, and I've been looking into some of your stuff, and I'm glad he did, man. And if you're willing, we'd love to have you back. Love to have you back, buddy. I appreciate it.
Welcome back anytime, Barry.
You bet. I'd love to get back down to Tennessee. I passed through there one time, and I stopped off at a Walmart. It was beautiful, man. You guys do a good job of taking pride in your communities, and I'd love to get down to Georgia too. So
yeah, there's a lot of
we take pride in our communities around here. It's kind of difficult to get around right now with this COVID-19 and all going on, but we're hoping to get back, you know, a little more to the norm as the future goes on.
You bet. Yeah. Let's keep praying. Fellas.
That's it.
All right, Barry, again, but I appreciate you coming on. I really do. And to to all the guests, or I'm sorry, the audience members out there. You guys did awesome tonight. Thank you guys for stopping in. I know that you sent a bunch of them over, and I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone.
You bet, man.
Thanks to everyone.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was my pleasure, man.
Hey, Barry, it was
All right,
awesome.
Barry. I'll be in touch, buddy.
You bet, man. Well, good luck to you guys, and I hope things go well.
You
Thank
too,
you,
man.
bud. Yeah. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
All right, just as advertised, Ricky.
Wow, man. That was
He's
awesome.
Barry's a good dude. We've been talking. I asked him a couple weeks ago to come on, and he agreed. And we've been talking a little bit here and there. And one thing I found really cool about him was we have a very similar dry sense of humor. He cuts up with me online or texting and everything, and I cut up with him. You can tell he's a good guy. He doesn't take life too serious, and he's making a difference. He's getting out there and doing some cool stuff, man.
That's it.
All right, you got anything else to add before we get off here?
Nah, nothing other than just everyone, please be safe out there.
Hit that subscribe button, guys. Go to mannimalresearch.com. Check us out. Everybody out there, y'all be good to each other.
Good night, everybody.
Y'all have a good night, and we will see you next time.
Stay safe.